Specifying intercession with these three groups is to demonstrate their great virtue and excellence. Otherwise, the right of intercession is established for every righteous individual from among the Muslims. Example, sincere Haji and a practicing Hafiz. We came to know that the loftier rank is that which is mentioned alongside the rank of prophethood, and this is greater than the rank of martyrdom. Even though countless hadith have been narrated regarding the virtue of martyrdom. A singer repentant through the blessings of scholars gathering. There was a beautiful woman that used to live in Basra, who was known to be people by the name of Shawana. As well as having a beautiful appearance, she also had a stunning voice. Due to her beautiful voice, she was well known for her singing and lamenting. Gatherings of joy and grief were considered incomplete without her. This was the reason why she amassed a large amount of wealth. She was used as an example when it came to sin and transgression. She lived a lavish life, would wear expensive clothing, and was always adorned with precious jewelry. One day, she was going somewhere with her Roman and Turkish maid. On the way, she passed by the house of one pious predecessor. He was the righteous slave of Allah Almighty, a practicing scholar and from among the worshipper and ascetics. He would address the people in his home, and the efficacy of his word was such that people would be overcome with emotions. They would begin to weep, and tears would fall from their eyes out of fear of Allah Almighty. When Shawana passed by, she heard sounds of crying coming from the house. She became engaged at this. She said to her maids, "It is strange that people are lamenting here, and I was not informed about it." She then sent one of her maids inside to observe the situation in the house. When she entered and witnessed the state in the house, she was also overcome with the fear of Allah Almighty, and she sat down. When she did not return after waiting for a long time, Shawana sent her second and third maid inside, but they did not return either. She then sent her fourth maid inside, who returned after a short while and explained, "The crying within the home is not due to someone's death, but due to sins. The people are crying out of fear of Allah Almighty on account of their sins." Hearing this, Shawana began to laugh, and she entered the home with the intention of making a mockery. However, something else was destined for her. As soon as she entered, Allah Almighty changed her heart. When she saw a Sheikh Salih, she said to herself, "Alas, I have wasted my entire life. I have wasted my precious life in sin. How will he forgive my sin?" Troubled by these thoughts, she asked him, "O Imam of the Muslims, does Allah Almighty forgive the sins of the disobedient and the criminals?" He replied, "Yes, all of these warnings and advices are for such people so that they adopt the straight path." She was not satisfied with this, so she said, "My sins exceed the stars in the sky and the foam of the ocean." He responded, It is no matter. Even if your sins exceed those of Shawana, Allah Almighty would still forgive you." Hearing this, she began to wail, and she wept so much that she fell unconscious. After a while, she regained consciousness and said, "I am that very Shawana whose sins are given as example." She then removed her expensive clothing and jewelry and donned old clothes. She distributed all of her elect wealth among the poor and freed all of her slaves too. Thereafter, she remained in her home. From that time on, she spent her days and nights engaged in worshipping Allah Almighty, weeping over her sins and seeking forgiveness for them. She would cry in the court of Allah Almighty and plead, "Oh, the one who loves those who repent and the one who forgives the sinners. Have mercy upon me. I am weak and cannot bear the severity of your punishment. Save me from your punishment and grant me the honor of beholding you." She lived her life in this state for 40 years and then passed away. May Allah Almighty have mercy upon her and forgive us without accountability for her sake. Ameen summa ameen.